Welcome again to Exit Strategy. You're in the right place if you want to hear about comedians talking about what they would do if they were no longer comedians, if they had to give it all up and stop chasing that dream of pursuing an art, the art of comedy. Thanks for joining me. We've had a lot of success over the past few weeks. I think we're on like episode 13. Ooh, unlucky. No, but the numbers have been going up. People have been the numbers have been going up. The analytics look good, people. A lot of great. We're getting a lot of traction. No, but a lot of people have been listening, and more people listen every week. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. If you were just joining us for the first time, if you heard last week's episode, you said, let's give it a shot. God bless you. If you're just joining us because you love the guest that I have on today, and he's a very, very, very lovable guy, I welcome you as well, and I hope that you stick with us next week. I don't know who it'll be yet. We're going to find out that mystery together, but please join me on this journey. Go ahead and subscribe. Go to iTunes. I'm going to assume it's iTunes. I know that's like a monopoly thing, and I'm probably contributing to Apple just being able to do whatever they want in music and podcasting, but like it helps me, so like whatever. Go to iTunes, go to the Exit Strategy page, subscribe to it. And if you've got the gumption, if your password is already loaded and you're already signed in and it's not a big pain in your ass, you could go the extra mile and also leave a review and leave a rating. And I'm going to leave it up to you. You can rate it. You don't have to rate it 5 stars. I would love for you to rate it 5 stars. I hope I earn that 5 stars. Somebody left a 4-star review, and that seems passive-aggressive because there's just one and there's no review. But anyway, I'm not going to jump down your throat if you give me 4 stars. In fact, I think that might just make it look like there's a more diverse crowd of people listening. And then there's also like it gives me room to grow. I don't have a cap on it. If it's just 5 stars, why make the podcast better? Anyway, go ahead and do that. That would be really helpful for your old buddy Jeff and his old buddy podcast, The Exit Strategy, where he interviews old buddies. Today on the show, I'm talking to Solomon Georgio, a good buddy of mine. I just spent Thanksgiving with him. He made a damn good mac and cheese. But on top of that, on top of his mac and cheese skills, he's also a very good comedian. He has an album out on Comedy Central Records, and he's just did his second performance, his second taping of the Conan O'Brien show on TBS. And now he's going out all over the country, and he's touring, and he's really got a lot of great momentum behind him, so it's kind of nice to see him blossom and his career move. And it's also a perfect time for me to ask him, theoretically, if your career stopped dead today, what would you do with your life? And I liked his answer. He's got a simple answer that turns into, by the end of it, a very profound and telling answer. So it's fun, and then it gets real, and then it gets fun again. It's a real roller coaster ride, and you're on it. It's Exit Strategy, The Ride, now at Universal Studios in 4D. We're going to spray water at you, folks, because that's all we do. Okay, do I want to get off on a rant about Universal Studios? Yeah, I kind of do. I was just there. All the rides give you motion sickness. You pay $150 to go there and get water sprayed in your face, and it's just 8 movies and a log ride. That's it. It's LA's biggest con. It's not people telling you that they can make you famous. It's this theme park in North Hollywood who thinks it's a theme park. It's not a theme park. It's 6 movies and a water ride. That does not a theme park make. All right, every time. Well, let's get off this subject. Let's get on a more happy subject, and that is the podcast you're listening to right now. I hope it's lightening your commute. I hope you're doing the dishes, listening to it. Whatever you're doing, I'm hoping it's brightening your day, and it's going to continue to brighten your day with our guest. Let's listen in and see what old Solomon Georgio would do with his exit strategy. Tabling, but then I worry. I want people to be comfortable, but I don't have the resources to make people comfortable.
This is how I do it. I'm fine. I'm content.
Okay, good.
I've sat at a table like this for a long time.
I've sat at a table before. Well, I'm just very self-conscious about it.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I don't think there's any way I can make you not less self-conscious about anything.
No, there isn't. This is me. I just have to talk it out in front of you. I hope. Thank you for being, my experiment.
No worries. Stream of consciousness. I understand.
That's all podcasting is, luckily.
Yeah.
But I got to say, I got a pro on the show today.
Did you?
You, baby.
I'm a pro?
You're a pro now.
I don't. Okay, I'll take it.
I think you should take it. This is, Solomon, you are like on the rise right now.
Oh, I keep forgetting that's a thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't know how to respond to that. It's a very weird.
I'll try not to make it as weird as I just made
No.
it.
Everyone makes it weird.
You're a superstar,
We're
kid.
just like, ooh.
Yeah. But you are in this unique thing, and let's start it off heavy duty.
With
talk
all
about
the things I've done.
all the things you've done. No, and kudos to you because you're kind of having like a nice little chunk of work right now.
It's very much that way. It's surprising, but in like not in a bad way. Like I can definitely see it keep happening because it's what logistically it's what I worked hard for.
Yeah, there's some momentum there.
It's just I just didn't expect any of it. I just expected to keep doing it and chugging along, and I've never comedy's just did that to me. Like in the last couple of years, it just keeps getting better.
It snowballed, and I think just to fill in the listener, if you don't know, what I'm referring to is Solomon is just taped his second Conan appearance. He's got a Comedy Central album and half hour.
Yes,
you're starting to do some dates around the country as well. So this is like when you start out and you're doing open mics and it just never seems like it's worth pursuing. Like, oh, it is actually sometimes worth pursuing.
It's weird. Like with me in comedy, I've never had like a strong deterrent.
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel like there were like slow crawls, but never a dip low. Like rarely was I feeling like there was no point in keeping doing it.
Yeah. You never had like the moment where you're like, I gotta quit.
The quitting feelings were more along the lines of just not knowing what I'm doing personally.
Yeah, that's true. Just like kind of directionless a little bit.
But it's like they wouldn't last. Like the longest I ever didn't do comedy was 2 weeks, and that was the extent of it.
But that's a long 2 weeks as a comedian.
It felt like decades.
And then when you come back after 2 weeks, you don't feel good.
You feel like you lost every skill that you garnered in the last several years.
I know. I had it and I should know better. I had it the other night when I hadn't done. Well, I got engaged, so I took the day off of my show.
As you should.
So I didn't do comedy for 2 weeks, and then I just went up, and you don't feel right. You just kind of feel like
it's an inadequacy.
Like you're a fraud. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's imperative to be up there, otherwise you're not doing.
You have to be in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like working out. But right now, you're in shape.
Though sometimes it's still, even regardless, it's still, I always will feel as good as my last set.
Yeah. You never really lose that.
Always, like right now, I am like in need of new material, and that's definitely...
Yeah.
Like that for me, that's just like I feel no different than I was before. I was like, I need to write something new.
It never goes away.
No, it's impossible.
Is that is the necessity for new material coming from a different place now that you are? Do you subscribe to that theory of like when you go on TV and you do material, it's burnt, or do you still kind of keep it around?
Well, like that makes sense. If like when people say it for like bigger comics, I'm like, yeah, that's a giant thing that millions of people have watched. Millions of people haven't watched what I've done. So
you can still bring out.
I can like until I can develop the material that I need. I don't need to hold on to the idea that I need to
a new hour
develop a new hour right now. Yeah, that's something like. When people say that and they're like, I should apply it to myself, I'm like, well, you're not 20 years in.
Yeah.
Which is, like, I'm at the halfway mark, and I still know that I can't do that.
I like it when people do ascribe to themselves, like, what people have been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah.
Like what they do, like, well, I've got to do that too.
Yeah.
But like at some level, you just have to fuck up a lot and learn what the hell you're doing.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I'm definitely gonna go out and try to make up as much material as I can, but I'm not gonna just like making an audience endure me figuring out an hour when I can just be like, oh, here's a joke that I know will make you content.
You sandwich it between. You do start out strong, you test some new stuff, and then you end with the thing that always works, no matter how sick of it you are, and you can be real sick of it.
Oh yeah.
My thing I use to end, I want to die every time I start it, but it always works. And then I still get a little bit of joy when it does work, even though I'm like in the middle of it. I'm like, this is.
I was feeling that, especially with my first Conan, because the joke that I brought onto that was a joke that I actually retired.
Oh, you brought it back.
And it was my Pocahontas bit. And I didn't do it for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I thought I was for sure done with it.
Yeah.
And for some weird reason, I did it again, and that was like, and then the booker heard it, and he was like, you should do that. And I'm like,
it's old to you. It feels
I hated it at that point. I've done like I felt like I was doing a cheap trick, but it was like, but what am I? Like I've literally done it for no one.
Do the trick.
Yeah, it's a few hundred people have seen it, so why not
utilize that? Yeah. That's the sad thing about comedy is that you just like in the broad scheme of things, not a lot of people have seen you do material, but to you, it's like I've done this a million times. But it is weird. This is a phenomenon that I've struggled with myself. Is that I'll get rid of that bit. And then I find when I go to... Because did you deliberately bring back the Pocahontas, or did you just happen to get into it?
I think it was because I was doing Meltdown, and it was a bit that I was like, oh, I haven't really used it on a popular show. I retired it before I had anyone paying attention to me in LA. So I was like, okay, well,
Dust
why not?
It off. Yeah.
And that was also the joke that I happened to do right in front of the booker for Conan.
So you had to.
So
yeah, I always have trouble though if I have a bit that really works, and especially if it has like a certain attitude. If I don't feel like it's almost like you don't feel like that person sometimes. You know what I'm talking about? It's hard to get a bit back.
But that person is there.
I know.
Then that's the thing is like I like that joke. I didn't do that joke verbatim the way I initially wrote it.
Oh, did
it was definitely like a minute shorter, a slightly different ending, and that was just what made it more important to Solomon at that moment.
Yeah, it could give it a little bit of freshness. That's true too. If you can like, even if it's one sentence or like just like a way that make it naturally segue from what you were just talking about. If you can just like. If it involves it being Wednesday and it happens to be a Wednesday, like that just for some reason triggers a joke into making it feel like, oh, this is extemporaneous. I'm making this up.
Yeah. And just jokes needs to be like, especially if you're doing things that you constantly like. If I'm taking the bus all the time, so whenever I just started doing a bus bit, and I was like, well, here's the thing I did a few years ago about the bus that I haven't mentioned, so let's just throw it out there.
Because I took the bus. Yeah. I'm the same way. If I happen to take a bus, especially if I go to an affluent neighborhood, that's when the bus bit comes out because it's about people not taking the bus. And it always, people don't take the bus when I ask them, and that's the perfect way to launch into that bit.
People should.
I agree with you.
I'm way more relaxed than all of the drivers in this city.
Yeah, I don't know what gridlock really is even anymore as a non-driver. Also, I think that I've noticed, especially because I just got a day job, so people go to lunch, and the short lengths that they want to just drive is appalling to me. Yeah, if you have a car in this town, you don't drive you don't walk ever. And to me, I'll walk 30 minutes to get to lunch. I don't know if you're that.
I can walk too. Like that's another thing is that it throws people off your willingness to walk further. And it's like the city doesn't have bad weather. This is Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, just walk around. The neighborhoods are great.
And that's the thing is like they just assume there's nothing beyond a certain point. You're like, if you walk a mile, you can find something different and new and enjoy
and people don't know about it. You really do learn a lot about the city by just being on its streets.
And it just also I know if I'm in a lift and they're driving me somewhere, I'm like, you're not going the best way possible. we need to utilize it. Like,
and I don't even have a car.
Yeah, but you get a better sense of direction.
You really do, yeah.
If you're willing to figure out the bus system.
Yeah.
And the quickest way to get somewhere.
It's true.
So you have to, like, you learn the whole city that way.
Yeah, and it really it makes it feel like more of a neighborhood too. I actually run into people on the street a lot more than you should in Los Angeles.
And I feel bad because I always wear my headphones, and I get a lot of the. I saw you walking down the street,
I get that too.
And I yelled at you for so long, but you didn't respond at all.
Yeah.
Like, well, Kesha was blasting in my ear, so what do you expect
really
from me?
wasn't on your. Yeah. Another fun thing that you can do if you have a bus is, for some reason, or if you ride the bus, is everybody assumes that it takes you 4 times longer to get places than it actually does.
It doesn't.
So, like, when I had another job where the boss, whenever the president was in town, she just assumed that, you should just take a half day. Like, it's going to take you way too long to get there. And, like,
Perfect.
His route was not even, it didn't even affect anything. Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I abused that too. Like when I was working at my restaurant job, I could easily be like, there's 1,000 excuses I can make up to not want to be at this terrible job.
Yeah, the bus's reputation is a perfect excuse. And maybe I shouldn't throw it out there publicly. People will find out about it.
Yes. Yes, the bus always takes a long time. It breaks down all the time.
All the time.
And there's constant traffic, and sometimes
it's rough.
The trains can jack up, and yeah, I'm going to be 3 hours late. I'm sorry.
No, it's just I can't help it. I can't help it at all.
Somebody needs to cover my shift. I apologize, Al.
Did you take the train to Conan, or did you get?
Well, they give you a car.
That's right.
There's if you do TV stuff, which is oddly enough, they're like, well, we'll get you a driver to take you to where you are, and that driver will also wait for you the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's just a weird, like, especially like I don't know. I don't know what to do with them.
With a driver?
Yeah, because they don't talk. They rarely ever talk.
It's kind of a bummer. They're probably used to a very specific type of person that you are not.
And no one like establishes like a tip system. Do I get like, and that's the worst things. I don't always carry. I often more than not don't have cash on me.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I should give you money.
I'm so sorry.
Like, I want to give you money, but I don't think of this until you drop me off, and then I'm like, I don't have cash. I never have cash.
But to him, he just thinks like you're some asshole actor on like a CW show.
Which is fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I just want
to get on that Riverdale. Baby.
Yeah.
When you did Conan the second time,
yes,
and it was like a 2-year gap between the two.
Mm-hmm.
What when you come into the second Conan appearance, is your mindset different? Does it feel easier, or is it still freaky?
Well, I had a pretty bad head cold.
Yeah.
So the only moment of like clarity and being well I had that day was on TV.
Sometimes that's good though if you have a distraction.
Oh yeah, I was in bed for 2 days prior, and then also that morning I was like, well, I have to go get my suit that I wasn't able to get before, so I have to go put my outfit together, get a new pair of shoes, and then I have to go get a haircut because I want to do that before, and I could only do it this morning. So, and then I have to go get my boyfriend who lives near the barber, and then by the time I got back home, the car was there.
And then I have to be on TV in front of millions of people, and it's recorded.
So yeah, I just legit woke up that morning, put myself together. I'm like, all right, well, we have to be well enough to do this list of
it'll get there.
Errands.
Yeah.
Before I get picked up at 2, and then.
Honestly, the errands sound more daunting than TV in a way.
Oh yeah, well.
Because the TV you can because the errands are gonna just take it out of you. Mm-hmm. But the TV, it's like I can drink coffee, I can like really abuse my body because once it's over, it's over.
Because the adrenaline's there, and I can be a coherent looking human being. And the second I get off, I can be whatever mess is inside of me.
Doesn't matter. They're not going to see that. Well, if you did have, if you were clear-headed and not sick. Beyond that, did you feel sort of a comfort level?
Of course, there's it's really weird to be in a situation where you can walk into the Conan set and people are like, I remember you. How are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm also happy to have you back. And like getting a hug from Andy Richter is the thing that I have to get used to. And
put you at ease, though.
Oh yeah, I'm like being friends with him is a very like.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was an option I could have as a human adult.
If I would have told you that 25 years ago,
I would have told you to fuck off. That's impossible.
Please fuck off.
You're telling me lies.
What if you had been sick that first time, though? How do you think you would have handled that?
That would have been a weird situation.
That would have been...
I was literally shitting every 10 minutes.
Okay.
Before I got out there. I was sick in a different way. I was legit going to the bathroom thinking poop was going to come out. It got to the point where I was going so often that it became blood.
Oh.
And it didn't stop until I legit got on stage.
On stage.
And then when I walked off, I felt complete and total relief. My ass was just like, I'm done. I'm good.
We're good.
I just want to harass you since the moment you woke up.
What if this was what it was like every set? Mm-hmm.
Well, with my half hour, I actually, because we got there to New Orleans where they filmed it for like 3 days before, so I only drank water, ate like half a sandwich a day until the day. Because I was like, we're not going to be going to the bathroom every 10
now
minutes.
You know how to manage it at least.
Yes.
That's I mean that's just nerves, right? Or do you have like a comedy-based irritable bowel syndrome?
No, it is definitely nerves. And that was the worst of it was that first coded. That was hands down. Like usually like I have to poop once and then I'm like, okay, we're good.
Yeah. Was that your first TV set at that point?
The Conan? Yes.
Yeah.
That was my very, very first.
Yeah. The nervous poops thing is real.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, the first time that I ever did the improv, same thing.
Ooh, right before.
They have a great bathroom upstairs, though. That is.
The green room one.
The green room bathroom is phenomenal for that. Because if you the regular people bathroom, that sounds terrible. It's just no privacy at all.
I've shit in that bathroom.
Oh, I can't bring myself to do it.
Every year into my 30s, the less I care about who else is in the bathroom.
I'm the same way, but like. That's the audience. It's so weird.
I'm ready for it. I'm like the shame is completely gone.
I'm just mortified that somebody's gonna make a comment to me as I leave the stall.
Once you shit every 10 minutes for several hours straight, you don't care anymore. You're like, who cares?
Yeah. But I recommend that one upstairs though. I'll try it from now on. Have you never tried that one?
I know it's up there.
Yeah.
And I just never thought to use it.
It's private. It's got the lock, just you. It's also got just like a lot of room. It's nice.
See, that might be worth it. I remember like my first one of my first festivals. It was Bumbershoot, which is a music and arts festival in Seattle, and we all right before my show. There's 3 of us. It was our first time doing the festival, and we're all just lined up taking a shit at the same time. All 3 just nervous shits together.
You have to. It just like you feel so much better. It's literally the best shit of your life.
Oh, it's
every time.
And you were just talking to each other as well, and that was just it's riffing as people are walking in, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on?
Who are these weirdos? Oh, they're funny.
Yeah,
we should put them on the show." All right. I think this is the most I've ever talked about poop on this podcast.
I'm happy to help.
And I'm so glad that you're a part of it. But, I mean, now that we've talked about your success, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about what if we stopped all this today. What if Solomon Georgio, touring comedian, televised comedian, wasn't doing comedy anymore? What would be a path you would go down? What would be your exit strategy?
Wow. That's a tough one
for me. That's a tough one.
Because my skill set is very limited.
Yes.
I used to be in the corporate world, and then I was serving for so long that I don't think I have that skill anymore.
Yeah. What were you in the corporate world?
I was just working as like an executive assistant kind of position.
That is a rough job.
For like a commercial print company, and I can't imagine going back to that. I would probably.
Well, let me just throw this out at you. Don't put a negative spin on it. Be aspirational. You don't have to go back to that.
No, I would probably just work at a bar.
Okay.
I would probably like bartending seems like the most surefire skill that I can obtain and fill the nights that I need to fill.
Yeah.
and the habit that I have, which I will be a very big drunk if comedy's no longer in my life.
But I hope like a happy drunk.
I'm always a happy drunk.
Okay, good.
Like I've definitely like I've never I never was like, oh, I'm gonna be sad and drink.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna make myself feel good, and then I'm gonna start drinking.
Yeah.
Which takes very little from me. I'm very good at giving myself like positive self affirmations in order for me to be like, all right, now we can get wasted.
I'm out of that mental headspace. Mm-hmm. Now let's have some fun.
But for me, I never get depressed at night. It's like my depression sticks around during the day.
Yeah, the day sucks.
That fucking morning time depression and to do it in LA is annoying too. Yeah. Being sad when it's like 90 degrees out and there are pools aplenty, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's just like you see out the window how nice of a day it is, but you're just not out there for some reason.
Yeah, it's for some reason, like, once that sunrise kicks in, I finally have value.
You're a night owl. Yeah. It's just part of it. So you would become a bartender, but let me ask you, are you, what kind of bartender are you? Are you a sociable? Are you a no-nonsense bartender?
I would definitely love to have a very popular situation where people specifically come to my bar because of me.
Because of you. Like you're the magnetic personality that
exactly.
brings people into the bar.
Like try it, like it's like a lot of like people trying to get my attention, but I'm like busy like throwing drinks out. I have no time to give them the attention they need. I'm like, hey, I get it. You have problems, and I want to help solve them. But right now, I got to make all these mojitos.
You do. I think you do have a little bit of that attitude that some bartenders have, where like they're sociable, but if they need to click in and make that mojito, it's like they're looking at you, they're talking to you, but there are like the other side of them is to the right, mixing up drinks and using grenadine and tinctures and shit.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a liberty about what you can say to people as a bartender because you're dealing with drunks. And you're just like, no, I'm not going to... Whatever you think is going to happen is not going to happen.
I'm not on board with that.
Because I worked at a bar. I wasn't a bartender. I was just a server there. And that was... My favorite thing I ever got to enjoy there was kicking people out.
Yeah.
It is...
So liberating.
One of the best. First of all, you usually have a security team. Makes it even way more fun.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have muscle for the first time in my life. So I'm going to kick you out. I'm not going to be polite about it.
Yeah.
And this fucking dude behind you, he'll throw you out if you don't listen.
Have you ever thought about just in life having bodyguards?
You know, I've never been in a situation where anyone's needed to have something of me.
Yeah. But I mean, just like for fun. Just walking around with like two dudes, really tight T-shirt, big guys.
I wouldn't, like, I feel like it's just like I'm already big enough as it is. I don't need to amplify that.
Okay. You don't need a bodyguard entourage.
Because I'm also like, what are we going to talk about as a group?
Well, yeah, that's the thing about the bodyguards. You got to either establish that you're going to talk to them a lot and you're going to be friendly, or it's going to be like that relationship with the driver and the passenger where there's just like a divide. And
exactly, and I wouldn't know to do that because like they start talking about supplements. I'm like, I don't really, this isn't going to happen right now, you guys.
Yeah, Ron, I don't know. If you were a bartender in this scenario, let me go one further. Do you own the bar?
I wouldn't want to own the bar.
You just want to work at a bar?
I would like to just work at the bar.
Yeah.
Save that money up. And then, I don't know, just have a solid studio apartment.
Your dream seems very attainable. I guess it's not a dream; it's an exit strategy.
Well, I've never living in extravagance has never been like a focal point of mine. Like there's like even if I do make a lot of money doing this, I don't think I would ever have a mansion. In any there. That sounds like I also don't think I want to get that rich either. Like it sounds
it sounds like
horrifying.
a kind of a hassle at times, for sure.
It is a hassle, and because like even with the amount of the smaller amount of success I've had, I've seen like the way people treat me in respect to what I was treated before, and it's just like I don't need that.
Yeah,
like people being disgenuine to me is just like my biggest fear. So
yeah, you're gonna get that if you have money. For
exactly.
Sure.
So
there's a nice earthiness to people who are not making a lot of money, which is cool.
And I've been poor for so long.
Yeah,
that not being poor is way more confusing.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more forms to fill out, I think.
And you have to, well, the more money you make, the more money you have to spend because you have, like, there's a certain set of things you need to start having, and then you're like, okay.
You have to maintain that lifestyle.
Well, now I have people that I'm paying.
Yeah.
Like I have
You've got
my
the
representation, and my bodyguards. But I'm giving money out, and
You're an employer.
Yeah.
A job creator, as they say.
I need jobs in order to make the employees that I have happy.
To make it happen.
Yeah.
Are you? I just want to go down this road for a little bit. Do you feel like you're comfortable at your financial level now, or do you? Because you've been very poor in the past, but now are you a little bit higher? Do you feel like this is a good spot, or do you still have like more to go?
Like I definitely I can't say that it's secure.
Yeah.
But also my concern is trying to be too secure, like trying to get to a certain point, and I'm just learning right now is trying to figure out because I do things like, should I buy a car? Yeah. Should I do this? Should I do that? And then eventually I talk myself out of it one way or another because like, what do I really need this for?
That's a good thing to have, though. I mean, it could probably go bad either way. Like you could be too cautious, but to have some semblance of just perspective on what you need in life is very important.
Yeah. Well, I also I'm very definitely a concern of mine that's happening right now is having a different success level than my friends, and that is what I'm learning is that it's okay for me to get things, and it's okay for people to be annoyed or jealous by that.
Yeah.
But also trying to, I've seen so many people gain certain things and then they're no longer connected to a lot of people they like and they hang out with, and I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to hang out with the new crowd. I don't want to do that at all.
You don't want to hang out with the famous crowd? Well, you're hugging Andy Richter, so
that's. But he's regardless of his success, he's still that's the kind of success I want to have.
Yeah.
Is somebody who's still very in tune with just everyone.
Yeah.
He hasn't built up a wall of separation.
There's a familyness to him.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah. It is nice to see him do that because I've seen him interact with friends of mine.
Yeah.
And for a second, it is like this thing of oh, that's a celebrity. He knows my friends. But then the tone of it seems so natural. It just seems like he's just one of us who just happens to be a little bit older.
And that's the truth. The truth is he is still a person. He's still doing everything a person should be doing. And that's what I want to always feel. I don't ever want to feel disconnected.
It's hard, though. And that is also hard just with age, I feel like. True. Because as I've gotten older in comedy, there is generations of younger and younger people, and I've not quite figured out how to reconcile meeting people that are starting out.
Oh, I'm not going to do that. I didn't. I'm just talking about the people in my life at the moment. I'm not talking about eventually befriending younger comics. That I have no interest in whatsoever.
Call me when you've done Conan.
Yeah. I'll clock in a few years and maybe I probably have a 4-year and up kind of rule.
Yeah. Well, I'm not talking somebody who started 6 months ago, but
yeah, but they can show up. I don't know. But on average, I tend there are a lot of people that move here, and I try to connect in one way or another.
Yeah.
But in general, for me, the disconnect that I'm always concerned about is with the peers that I have.
Just the people
moment,
that you know. Yeah. I think you've done a good job of maintaining it.
Oh yeah.
Because there's definitely people that I've lost connection with as they've gotten successful, and I still love them dearly. Honestly, when I do see them, there is that bond, but there's that split second when I see them again where I'm just like, has this changed? Is this still?
Well, I just don't. The bond being distant is the thing that I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like having to reestablish a friendship with people that I've been friends with. And it's especially happened with the people that I've been friends with a long time that weren't doing comedy. And that one was a major blow because I lost a really good friend, a lifelong friend, and she's we barely started reconnecting again. It's one of those things where I'm like, you don't understand your importance to me.
Yeah, you. When you do comedy, you just kind of have to like go away in a lot of people's lives, and I do have that same guilt feeling of like, I'm sorry I wasn't there, and then
weddings that I've missed, people that it's like I feel. And that's things like I do know that I do those things. I do think about that. It's like it's still in my head. I'm like I could have been there for these people.
Absolutely.
And I have literally not been there for them. I've legit purposely remembered that I need to do something and said I can't do that. I have to do comedy. And
it's so sad, but it's like people don't understand that, but like the amount of the time commitment of being a comedian is, especially when you're starting, is so you get swept up into it. So you're just sort of, I think you forget about your old friends for a little bit, just absolutely like this is something new,
and then
it's swept you in, and you are.
But there's the guilt is always there. I will always like I do a mental tally every once in a while of all the things that I know I missed and that I could have tried to be there for that I did.
I owe these people some connection at some point down the line. Well, is it going to happen? Let's do it right here on the podcast.
Yeah, let's go ahead and bust out my phone and put it on speaker and call at least 20 people.
Maybe a mass text will be
a mass. Oh, well, that's just.
No, I'm just joking.
Can you BCC a mass text?
Well, maybe we could do like a Skype sesh. We could do it video. We could get it going.
Can you guys all get into one room?
A conference
and
call.
We're gonna discuss how much sorry I am and how.
It's like a reverse intervention where you are starting it about yourself.
Like, I wrote a letter for everyone here.
I'm so sorry. I became a comedian. By the way, you can check out my album. It's on Comedy Central.
Sure, you should check it out. It is all the jokes that you weren't able to make it for because I did not tell you about anything for the last 4 years.
Oh, but I think you'll connect over time, though. I feel like those bonds will come back just because.
Yeah, I do try to make an effort, like maybe once a year or once every year and a half, to be like, I'm here in the city.
Are they people that live in LA?
A lot of people that live in Seattle, but there's also people that I was like friends with my first year here, and it's definitely the distance has happened, and
it's just a big city and a big world of comedy. This is what I say. This is my advice to you. Christmas, text them something. Like just thinking of you, because like that I found is the best way to naturally have an excuse, because it's kind of awkward to start conversations with people like that sometimes. It's the perfect way to get into it.
True.
And then you can kind of judge by what they write back, how kind of dip your toe in the water a little bit.
I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to think about doing it and then feel guilty about not doing it.
Maybe next year. Maybe 2019 is the year.
I'm going to keep doing that in my head.
Or maybe invite them to your bar that you work at.
Oh, God, that's going to be that. That's the best way to do it. I'm going to have my bar. My friends know I'm going to be there. They're going to come there because I'm working there.
Oh, wow. That is like from a psychological standpoint, like, oh, my God, now Solomon, on his nights, he has subconsciously picked somewhere where he is stable. He always is.
Yes.
Am I reading too much into that?
That's exactly what you got it absolutely right.
Wow. It's like, I'm going to perform here, and you can find me. Oh, my God.
I will always be here, and you will be able to drink with me, hang out with me. You'll get brief moments of my time while I go around making drinks for people.
Oh, man. That's like, because a lot of people have said that they've wanted to like move to small towns and have stability, but like this level of stability is so much more profound in a way,
because it gives people a place for you.
Yeah,
it's gonna be my version of Cheers.
I will be. Which character on Cheers are you?
Well, I'd have to be Sam Malone if I'm going to be the bartender.
That is
but
true.
I think I'm not dumb enough to be Woody. So
no, you got a little bit of Rhea Perlman in you.
Yeah,
just a tad.
But she's slinging drinks. She's not serving. She's not making the drinks.
Are you? I feel like we've come to such a beautiful conclusion, but now I want to derail it by asking you, what kind of bar is this? Is this a mixologist place, or is this?
God, no.
I'm just curious.
I would it's probably in somewhere in that in between space of like almost a dive bar, but not.
But not like, quite like a fake dive bar.
Like you can still you definitely have to have there'll be top shelf liquor there.
Yeah.
But it won't bust you can get well drinks and not bust your bank. Like,
okay.
Like there's always like a decent happy hour.
Okay,
like
so
a 7 to 9 situation, a later happy hour that people can be like, oh, in that case, I can show up at 8 o'clock, get some happy hour drinks, maybe some happy hour food, and kick the shit with Solomon until busy hour.
In 8 years. It's like not a $10 beer situation.
No. Okay. I'm thinking like 3 beers on tap max.
That's like simple.
A lot of whiskey though.
Oh, okay. I like this.
Yeah.
Would it be in Los Angeles or would you put it up in Seattle?
That is a tough call, but I would.
Or any city, actually. I should throw that out.
I would go with Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Right now, I'm vibing with Los Angeles, and I think it's a place that I can. But like push comes to shove, Seattle's also like I think I'm in a equal. Like
it could go either way.
Either way.
Yeah.
But it depends on where in LA. Like if it's on the east side of LA,
they give you your choice where you want it to be.
East side of LA, happy camper.
Yeah.
West side of Vermont,
ooh,
I'm gonna
something about that side of town. Like
fuck to hell.
It's beautiful, but I hate it.
Like that's like when I see a velvet rope, I'm like, oh, so you're keeping all the shitty people inside, and I'm not allowed to go in. What kind of happy coincidence is this?
It's fine. When I walk around, because we were talking earlier about walking in Los Angeles, and on the east side, I feel like if I walk around, I discover things that I'm interested in. When I walk around on the west side, first off, way too stretched out, a lot of houses, kind of boring, but I never find anything that intrigues me. I just find like shit I can't afford and places that are too clean for me.
There's such a long distance between things. Like there's like maybe 2 miles of nonsense before you get into something that's worth.
Like maybe one thing that's worth.
Just barely a thing.
It's not like a little Main Streety thing that might have a bunch of stuff.
It's usually like, especially if I'm looking for food, I'm like, I've just gotten so hungry to that point that I'll stop and eat anywhere.
I'll just have this Ralph's chicken salad sandwich just to be done with it. I think that's why you're vibing with Los Angeles right now, is because you're connected to the city at its core, and that's a beautiful thing. I think that's a pretty damn solid exit strategy.
It's a solid.
And you didn't once say, like so many other people on this show said, oh, and then also I do comedy, like on the side.
No. If I'm leaving, if it all ends, then it's going to be done.
It's burn the rope at the end. It does not fray. All right, Solomon, thank you for sharing that exit strategy. Now we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come back. You're going to choose the sponsor for this week's episode. Okay. It's a very big responsibility.
I understand.
And, maybe that person will... I feel like I got to stop explaining this little premise, because every week it's the same, so I don't know. This company,
it's fine. We're going to do it anyway.
All right. Solomon, this company that you choose as a sponsor might just hear you talking about it and say, hey, that Solomon guy, we might want to bring him on the payroll.
Okay. Done.
All right, we're going to be right back with this tried and true sponsor segment in just a bit. It's a choice that you make. I like that. I feel invested in this city, and it's a very enriching feeling.
Because there's so much you can do here.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, if I want to try something new, I can do that.
Yeah.
And do something new every day. I'm not gonna, but that option's there.
You should try something new every day.
I'm going to try something new once a week.
What was the last new thing you tried?
Oh, man. It's weird. I just can't remember.
It's almost December, if that helps put it into context.
Because I don't think I've been eating at restaurants.
This question has
Though I do have a new barber now.
Oh, you have a new barber now?
Yes.
Okay, that's something new. It's a trust scenario. Mm-hmm. You got to go in there and you kind of have to lay it all on the line.
But I'm also like, I'm not unwilling to try anything new. I'm just not gonna I don't really put a concerted effort. Like I'm fine with doing.
It happens when it happens.
Yeah. Like I love all the places that I go to, and if somebody's like, "You want to go do something new?" I'm like, "Sure." Oh, like Zebulon was a new thing that I did with the bar.
What is Zebulon?
The bar Zebulon. It's in Atwater. It's like this. It has a front bar and this like big dance floor in the back.
Okay.
It's right by Astros.
There's a bar over there?
Yeah, it's this weird little lot. I can't remember what it used to be, but I'm sure it's just... Yeah. They just recently changed it into the bar.
And you tried it? And it's
I liked it a lot.
Is that going to be your sponsor?
No.
What will be your sponsor?
Well, my sponsor will be Scotch and Soda, which is
Scotch and Soda.
a apparel company. I went to a boutique in New York City.
Yeah.
Because I needed a new shirt, and I tried so many shirts on. None of them fit me, which was heartbreaking. And like it was because I'm that weird between a medium and a large size.
I'm totally related to that.
And it was one heartbreaking attempt after the next. Yeah. Where this shirt is too big. This shirt too small.
Yeah, there's no medium at all. You look dumb in either way.
And then I found this wonderful shirt by Scotch and Soda, who I don't know how big they are. They definitely have an online company, but they are. It had a bunch of little palm trees on it. It's a white shirt.
Yeah.
White collar shirt, bunch of little palm trees all over it. My favorite shirt.
Is it just that one shirt, or is there a whole...
I just have the one shirt, but they have a whole bunch of other clothing that I constantly eye, and then I'm like, it's one of those things because it's online. I'm just like,
yeah.
That's my greatest fear, is purchasing something online and then having to return it, because I will never do it. I've done it 3 times.
So you're just going to be sitting there, I got $400 worth of shirts, and I'm never going to wear them.
I got 3 things online. 2 of them I needed to return.
Yeah.
Here we are a year later.
At least, although this is going to be just as nerve-wracking, I feel like, at least give them to the used clothing store, see if you can get money from that.
Yeah, that
seems very judgy. Yeah,
I could do a lot of things. Yeah. I actually gave the clothing to somebody else.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's like it's new clothing. So there's somebody that's willing to take it. That's that size.
What's like a gift? It's like that could be your holiday gifts this year.
Sure. Yeah.
What's the Scotch and Soda like aesthetic?
They're very. It's just these wonderfully casual shirts that are very well designed, and there's also jackets. It's like they have this whole slew of clothing that are just. It's not like it's in that middle range of being not too expensive, and I'm just like I've become. I'm very much like I'm very like when it comes to me and clothes. Yeah, I'm very particular.
You are. We haven't even touched on this. Like you are a fashionable guy.
I have what I wear, and I usually I wear the same things over and over again.
Yeah, but you wear them well.
Well, I try my best.
Like whatever you're wearing works.
But the thing is that fit is so important to me, and when I try something, and that's the thing is like I shop at 2 places max. I rarely venture out, and when I do venture out, then I'm like, well, now I have to get everything you've ever made,
and you add them to the repertoire.
And that's things like I need to, and that's the only thing that's stopping me from getting everything they ever made is that it's an online store, and the only place I found it was in this boutique in New York, and
you just need to make shopping treks to New York.
I can go to New York and get another
you'll be
thing.
In New York again.
I'll do it again, but.
See, I'm probably the exact opposite of you fashion-wise, because you will look and look for that shirt, even though this one's too small, this one's too large. I give up very quickly. I get very frustrated. Do you have any fashion advice for me, the non-fashionable person?
It's the whole frustration with fashion is I think for me it's usually just like I'll try this.
Yeah.
And I also sometimes sometimes I don't, like somebody tells me something looks good and I don't trust them in that moment, and it's one of those things where like if I wear something long enough, I will eventually like it.
Yeah.
And if I own something long enough, I'll eventually like it. But I've also started letting go of things. Like if I have something too long, like why am I keeping it?
Yeah, you do got to do that.
Things get worn out, and I like that's the tough thing. Especially like my thing is shoes, where I don't like buying new ones. And I have a very limited amount, and I'm just slowly destroying all of them. And
with all that walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and once a shoe becomes comfortable, I don't want to endure a new shoe. So it's just one of those things where like, Solomon, you got to just bite the bullet and get yourself a goddamn pair of new shoes.
And then just get used to them until you like them.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Like that's you just have to get yourself to the mentality. It's like, I can't find anything. It's like, well, this does fit me. I don't know if I like it right now, but I might like it eventually.
So are you saying, just because I would love any fashion advice possible, that I should just kind of find something that I know generally looks good, and even though it's going to feel weird on me because I'm a very plain clothes kind of guy. I just get used to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you will. And
that's kind of good advice.
It'll become a very normal thing. Like every risk I've taken with a purchase from like, this is too loud. I don't know if I can pull this off. Here I am pulling it off. Comfortable in it.
I'm going to try to be more, you know what, I'm going to make that my New Year's resolution. I'm going to try to be more outgoing fashion-wise. And if it doesn't work, I'm coming to you desperately for help. Solomon, let's talk about you. Let's plug you for a second.
Yes.
Now, if somebody is listening right now and they've never heard or seen anything from Solomon Georgio, what would be the best entry point? What is something you would point to and say, that is Solomon, check me out?
First, I'd want to welcome them back out from the cave they were living in for the last few years. Welcome to America. It's a wonderful place now. Don't pay attention to the news.
Welcome to civilization. This is Solomon Georgio.
There's my album, which is Homo Negro Superior, which is available on Comedy Central. I have my website, which is thesolomongeorgio.com.
The Solomon Georgio.
Which
has solomongeorgio.com?
No. I lost that to a Japanese website. We don't need to worry about it.
All right. So the
solomongeorgio.com. And that has my calendar. And I am now doing a lot of stuff in the world.
You might be coming to your town.
That's actually a very good possibility.
Oh, well, that's good.
Especially if it's anywhere in Minneapolis next month.
Well, if you're living in Minneapolis next month, it's cold as
January.
No, it will be next month. Yes,
okay, when this comes out, it'll be next month.
Next month. And if you listen to it not this next month, it will have already happened.
Yeah.
Check them out in Minneapolis. I don't know what the Minneapolis contingency is. Oh, it's at Acme. I've heard that's a good club.
I've been told nothing but good things, and I'm very excited that I get to headline. I'm trying to be chill about it.
Oh, you're going to be fine. And hey, guess what? If you go to Solomon's show in Minneapolis, tell him Exit Strategy sent you, and then he's going to give me $10 from every ticket sale sold.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I will happily share. I would do it.
I guess that is true. That would be a good thing for you. All right. Well, check out Solomon live. Check out the Solomon Georgio. And if you can't see him live, he's got an album. Is it on? It's probably on Spotify.
It's on Spotify,
or
iTunes.
Just buy a hard copy.
It's on Sirius constantly. It just
buy a CD.
It does. There are no. It's all digital.
Oh, it's no CD.
It's 100% digital. So
buy it.
Buy the album.
Make a CD.
Make a CD. Send it to me. I need it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Solomon Georgio on Exit Strategy. Thanks for coming by, man. I really appreciate it.
I'm happy to be.
We'll see you next week on Exit Strategy.